Hey everyone, it's another day. We are into the exciting part of creating that irresistible offer. And look, by this point, you've done a lot of heavy lifting. You've really taken the steps to truly understand your prospects, your market inside and out. You've taken those steps to understand your product or your service inside and out. And you're actually starting to bring those two together in a really powerful way, that where you start creating meaningful benefits that evoke emotions and consider their beliefs and provoke their values. So you've also looked at the competition, and you've started to differentiate your products and services from what's being sold to your prospects. You've even started to get people to understand how your products or services can be used in their lives. So congratulations, you have done a lot of work. In fact, you've done all the heavy lifting. I know this isn't like super easy stuff. Some people find it a lot of fun. I actually kind of enjoy the research part of it and getting to know that stuff, because I know how valuable it is on the other side, but it can be hard and it can be challenging. Well, now we're getting into some really cool stuff. And let me tell you something. When I first have a client come in and start talking to me about a product or that they want me to pitch something or something like that, one of the first things I need to know is, hey, what is the offer? What are you going to be giving them in exchange for their money or for their interests or whatever it is? So that is one of the first most important things that you can have right out of the chute. And really, it's an essential thing, because here's the reason why. If you don't know what your offer is, then how are you supposed to know where you're going to start and where you're going to pitch them to? And I'm going to explain to you that logic bridge that you absolutely need to have in your copy and in the structure of your advertisement, however that looks, in order for it to be successful. So I know that you don't know that part yet, but it's coming. And I wanted to mention that because this is going to be very useful. If you don't understand what the offer is, then you're not going to understand where you need to get them to. And what's that last little step here, that little micro step that's right here that they need to then take in order to land in the offer and have the offer make sense. Okay, so you've got to have this critical piece of information, and like I said, you need to have it up front, because otherwise you're not going to know where you're shooting for. If you were on if you were jumping in a car and driving somewhere, if you don't know where you're going, it's sure going to be you're going to have a hard time getting there. And that's the point, is the offer is where you're going. So you better know it. You better know it up front, because it's going to shape everything else. Everything else that you say and you do and it's setting up, everything is set up to make the offer make complete sense. Okay, so let's jump into this and let's talk about the offer. So really, at the end of this session, you're going to be able to write a structured offer to your prospects by using one or more of these components. And actually, all of these components come into it. You're going to be able to tweak it. There's actually 9. So let's talk about what the 9 are. So you've got your quantity, you've got your frequency, you've got the amount of time that's being offered based on the quantity and frequency. You've got your pricing, your scarcity, your upsells, the guarantee, your bonuses, and your payment process. Now, I bet you never realized that there were that many components to an offer. But there are. And here's the thing, is you are not only going to be able to make a really solid and structured offer. The only real way that you can do that is when you fully understand your prospects. You fully understand your market, you fully understand your product, and you fully understand your competition. Because that's only then that you're going to know what they truly care about, what would be valuable to them, what would they be willing to trade money for or trade information for, whatever it is you're trying to get them to do. you have to know all these elements, that all this legwork that you've been doing now comes into play. Okay, so that's one of the things that is really important for you to understand. Okay, so the other thing is that when you're writing your copy, you've got to look at that big idea. And so you got to have them moving into the offer. I talked about that a little. Now, when it comes to the offer, you've got to consider all these different elements. So I'm going to repeat them one more time, and then we're going to break it down. So you got your quantity, your frequency, the amount of time being offered based on the quantity and frequency, your pricing, your scarcity, your upsells, the guarantee, bonuses, and the payment process. Okay? So here's the deal. Let's look at quantity first. You'll want to know how many of your product or service you're going to be offering. This is it's pretty basic, right? How much are you going to be offering? If you, excuse me, if you're offering a class, you may be offering like 6 or 9 classes. They may be receiving it for 3 or 6 months. So you have to define how many of what it is that you're giving, how much you're offering. Okay. The next thing that you've got to focus on is your frequency. So you want to look at how often your prospects will be receiving your offer. So what's the frequency here? How often is your offer or service occurring? Are you offering a class 1 time a month? Are you offering 12 classes? But it's up to the student to take these at their own pace. It all depends. How often are they getting this? Is it happening once an hour, every day? Is it happening every week? So you need to look at how often your prospects are going to be receiving that offer. Okay, the next one is how much time is being offered. So what's the amount of time that you're offering them? So, like, again, if we're going to stick on this training concept, so is each of the 12 sessions that you're offering, are they 30 minutes? Are they 60 minutes? Are they 90 minutes? If you're selling vitamins, are you offering 12 bottles with 30 vitamins in each bottle? Or if you're a stockbroker, are they receiving 12 trades per week? So how much is it being, how much, I say the amount of time being offered, but it could also just be like how much is being in the bottle. So like is it a 30-minute session? Is it a 60-minute session? Is it 30 vitamins in the bottle? So if it's a physical thing and it doesn't necessarily relate to time, then you may get like 12 bottles, but there's 30 vitamins or 30 whatever pills in each bottle. Okay. So depending on if it's a product, you'd say just the amount of sub quantity being offered. And then if it's something that's a service-based thing like training or stockbrokering or copywriting or whatever, then how much time are they getting within each session? Okay. Or within a certain time period. Let's look at pricing. Now, when you're considering how to price your product or service, you really want to you want to be offering these different pricing opportunities. So, one of the most basic one is a quantity discount, right? So, if a person buys 10 or 12 of an item, are they going to get a break on that bulk? You often see this in printing, right? So if I print it at 100, I get it for $1 a piece. If I print 1,000, I get it for 60 cents a piece. And if I print it for 10,000, I'm going to get it for 43 cents a piece. So the quantity discount. So if your prospects are coming into a training session, do they get a discount for the training if they buy 6 months of coaching instead of 2 months? Or if they just buy it in piecemeal, right? I mean, this is how Costco and Walmart have made, well, particularly Costco and Sam's Club, really, I should say, That's how they make their money. They sell these bulk things. I mean, a bachelor can come in and buy a year's worth of toilet paper in one fell swoop, but he gets a great price on a per unit basis. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. Now, if you go into the next step of pricing, would be like a launch pricing. So that's something like, hey, this is a one-time launch offer. This is the early bird offer. It creates a bit of a constraint in time. So we'll talk about scarcity in a minute. But it's a great example of how you can introduce a product into the market and get them excited about it, test the pricing. So like if you're offering a pricing launch of say like $10.95, you can let the prospect know that if they sign up today or in the next couple of weeks that they'll get that discount. But after that, the price is going to go up to $19.95. So with a launch pricing, you're giving the reason. You really do have to give the person a reason for why you're giving them this price and why it's this kind of launch price. Okay, so examples may be you may be offering this lower price to past customers or to current customers or to friends and family because you want to do something special for the people who have been supporting you in the past. So that could be a reason why you have this launch pricing. Or because it's just a sneak peek. You know, sometimes you can get people into groups like special clubs and stuff with the idea that they are going to have access to early bird deals. Okay, so another option would be is that you may offer launch pricing to make your first buyers founding members in exchange for say people coming to a forum to give you ideas. You know, they become like your board of directors. So you're giving them notoriety. That might be the reason. You're recognizing their prestige. It also could be as for like a pay it forward process. Like you were once offered a product launch and it was so transformative that you want to return the favor and do that. You know, there's all kinds of other reasons. Just one more off the top of my head is that people can qualify for that launch price. So they have to jump a certain hoop. They have to be a certain type of person. They have to have a certain type of income in order to qualify for this launch price. But whatever the reason is, just understand that you've got to have a reason. And we could go on and on about that. But you need to have a reason for the launch price. It can be as simple as just a special introductory price, but you need to give some type of clarity to the market and signal to the market that this isn't going to continue forever, that this isn't the real price, and that, man, if they come in later, it's going to be a worse deal. That really this isn't the real price. That the real price is $19.95, but you're giving it for $14.95 just to the first 100 customers or something like that. So that they understand that they're getting a deal on it. They're getting a discount. It's not the real price. It's not the price that they're always going to get. Okay, what about in pricing? Is there what type of payments are you offering? So is it a one-time payment, a monthly payments, quarterly payments, payments 2 times a year? Okay, so that is part of the pricing. Let's go over to scarcity. Here you want to look at your quantity and see how you can tie in a scarcity component to get people to act. Okay, so I'll give you a few examples here. So we only have 1,000 of these LED bulbs to sell, and we have over 200,000 people that are receiving this offer. So you want to jump in on this great offer now. So this type of scarcity approach, it creates urgency, right? There's all these people that are getting this notice. There's only this many of the product that we all want. And so you have got to score now. You've got to go for it now, or else you're going to miss out, because clearly this is such a great idea. And man, with 200,000 people that are going to hear about this, boy, you better jump in right now. So another one would be, hey, we got a great offer on this pound of coffee, but it's only limited to 2 per customer. So what is that? Oh, it's creating a quantity scarcity, right? You'll often see that in Sam's Club or Costco. They'll have a coupon, but it's limited to 2 of these toilet paper. You can't get $1 off on 18 of them. You can only get $1 off on 2 of them. So another way would be like a one-time offer. So you're never going to see this offer again. That's pretty common in online circles. So if you've got a funnel that they've got a front end offer, and then you give them a one-time offer, maybe a second one-time offer, maybe even a third, and it's like, hey, this is going away. Do you see this? Because it ain't coming back. Okay. So that's kind of how that would look. You know, you've only got 1 week to make this purchase. After the week, it's going to end. You've only have till midnight. Flash sales are certainly popular, where you've got to respond in the next 24 hours, or it ends at midnight, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So the thing is, though, is you got to make sure that you stick to the scarcity. It's very important. Don't put something on there and then say, oh, well, I was just kidding. You really don't have to do this. Okay, so people who jumped in on the 1 week, you don't want to train them that you're not telling the truth, or that you don't keep your word. You want to train them that if you say that this ends at midnight, that it actually ends at midnight, period. Okay? Let's go to upsells. So in order for an upsell to really work, you want to have it connected with the first thing that they hooked on. You want to have it really complement the main offer. So for instance, if you purchase a smartphone, you might upsell a warranty to protect the phone, right? Or you purchase a cell phone, you're going to sell the cover and the screen protection so that if the phone drops, it doesn't break. If you're selling a training program, you'd upsell maybe coaching that reinforces the training. Or if you're selling people on a system of how to convert visitors to their website into paying customers, then maybe the upsell might be, well, how to get more people to show up at the site. So you've got one that's selling them on how to convert them, and then you're having an upsell that says, well, now that you've got it all dialed in and you're getting a great conversion, now we need to get more people going through here so that you can convert more, right? Maybe another way would be if you're selling a clothing line, you could upsell the buyer into a small monthly fee that gives them a discount on special, so like an exclusive club or something like that. So that would be another option. And then finally, like on pricing, you want to test the pricing to see which one is working better. A common pricing scheme is to go from some type of sale to a $197 price and then to like a $297 price. So there's some really smart guys that are using that. The next element in an offer is the guarantee. And we all understand the general premise of the guarantee. But here's really how we can break it down. And there's different types of guarantees, and it also can be types of warranties as well. So, and here's the thing. What's the difference between a warranty and a guarantee? A guarantee is something that's generally going to persuade somebody on the front end to buy it. Warranty is generally going to keep your customers happy after they've bought it. Now, for some people, the warranty may be a deciding factor on the front end, but for the most part, it's the guarantee that's going to get them in the door. So if you guarantee that, hey, if in the next 3 months you're not happy with this, you can return it, great. But the warranty is going to be, say, 5 years, long after they're going to be able to get their money back, but it will allow them to remain happy. You'll continue to have a happy customer because they're going to be happy with the product. Okay, so there's the lifetime guarantee, where you guarantee your product or service for a lifetime, that if it doesn't work, you're going to give them a refund at any time in the future. You can have a quantity guarantee. So if you buy a 12-week course and they're not happy with it, you'll reimburse them for 6 of the courses. Or if you'll reimburse them for if they buy a bunch of let's say bottles of pills, you'll reimburse them for whatever ones aren't used. Okay. Let's see, the time guarantee. So at the end of 6 months, if you're not satisfied with this wrinkle cream, you'll receive a full refund on your purchase up to 6 months. Then there's the amount guarantee. So we guarantee that your purchase up to $3,000 if the product breaks or is damaged, we'll give you all your money back plus 10%. So that's an amount guarantee. There's the restriction guarantee. So you can guarantee everything except for, we guarantee your bike, it's going to run perfectly. You're going to be totally happy with it. But if you damage it, then we can't refund the money. The other kind is just like a conditional guarantee. So look, if you buy this car from us, if you use this type of oil in it, then we will honor the guarantee. Or you've got to demonstrate that you've done these 3 things in order to get your money back. So that would be a conditional guarantee. The next one would be bonuses. So and here's the thing is that you want your bonus, like your upsell, you want your bonus to complement your main offer. You need to think like, what else might they need to go along with this product or service that doesn't come with the original purchase? Like, how can I make this even better? Knowing your market is critical in these cases. Okay, so here's some examples. When you sign up for this training course, you're going to receive a 30-minute consultation with the training director, or you're going to receive a copy of my free ebook when you sign up for this course that's going to give you the checklist that you need in order to be successful with all the stuff that you're going to learn. Another type of option for a bonus would be, if you buy this 3-part skin enhancement system, you'll receive a sample of our new Mint Brightening Exfoliator. So you've got one part that says, oh, you want to enhance the skin. Okay, great. Now let's give you an exfoliant, which is going to do a great job at enhancing your skin even more. And, maybe another upsell from that would be, or a bonus to that is we're also going to include this wonderful foundation that never clogs your pores. And so you're going to have a whole flawless system. Now, the last one that you need to focus on with your offer is the payment process. So how are they going to pay you? You would be surprised at how hard it is for people to get this stuff. It's crazy. They don't think of this. And all of a sudden, there's orders are coming in and they're not able to process them. I actually had a very successful project last year that was swimmingly great. It went fantastic. The only problem is that it was a foreign company that was marketing into the US, and they hadn't set up a bank account in a company that could bring checks in, and yet they gave people the option of sending checks, which was smart because this was for targeting the baby boomers, and baby boomers still like to write checks. So it's good that they were doing that. But the problem is that they weren't able to take the checks. Now, so we had to send back tens of hundreds of checks back to the people who originally bought it. Can you believe that? Well, it happened. And it can happen to you if you don't think through how you're going to take this payment, how you're going to process the payments. This can actually be one of the most important things. And let me share something else of advice for you. However you're going to take that payment, test it, particularly online. If it's a a credit card payment, then you've got to run a card through the process. You can always refund it, but run a card through the process. Otherwise, you don't know if it's going to work, and then you don't want here's the thing, you don't want your customers being guinea pigs for you. You don't want your customers testing your funnel and your system and your payment process. Okay, so do it. So here's some different ways that you can take in money. Right, you can take a credit card. You may want to bump up your price by 3%. Sometimes people will do that if you're taking credit cards. With PayPal, that's another option. Again, you may want to bump it up. You may want to consider bumping it up to accommodate for the transaction fees. Take a check. Look, not everyone wants to give you their credit card information. Not everyone feels comfortable with doing credit card stuff online. Not everyone, especially if it's like a company that they're not familiar with, if it's a new company, they might not be comfortable giving you the credit card information because they know that could be easily taken and used in other places. And they have this fear, particularly in the boomer market, they're going to have this fear. So you need to be able to take checks, but make sure, like my friends that weren't able to process these checks, make sure you can process it. Make sure you've got the bank account set up. Make sure that everything's good to go, that you talk with your bank, tell them, hey, I'm going to be getting a whole bunch of checks in. I just want to make sure that we're going to be okay with this. Do you foresee any problems? I anticipate even upwards of 100, 200, 1,000, 10,000 checks, whatever that quantity is. Have that conversation with your bank and make sure that they're cool with it and that they understand that this is going to be happening. Get that approval that you need beforehand so that you're not sitting there with a bunch of checks and you can't cash them. The worst thing you could possibly do is have to send them back to the people who wrote them. The last way, obviously, is cash. I'm not going to talk about Bitcoins and all that kind of stuff. The last real option is cash. And look, this is, for the most part, really the only option if you've got a retail business and and people are coming in and they're handing you cash. Look, cash is certainly the easiest and it's the cheapest way. It's the lowest risk because there's no processing. They can't do chargebacks. They can't stop the check. It's the easiest way. But the truth is that really the only way that people are going to be able to do that is if they walk in and hand you the cash. And that's not as likely. So those are all of the elements of an offer. So you've got your quantity, you've got your frequency, you've got your amount of time being offered on the quantity or based on the quantity or the frequency or the amount of the product being offered within each sub package. You've got your pricing, you've got your scarcity, you've got your upsells, you've got the guarantee, you've got your bonuses, and you've got your payment process. Now, there's two things that I want to mention for you to think about is that on your upsells, you have all the same variables within that. So with your upsell, you can have an upsell to the upsell. You need to structure your offer for your upsell too, right? So how much they're going to get, how often they're going to get it, how much they're going to get within each unit, the pricing for that, what kind of scarcity are you creating? What's the guarantee on for that upsell product? What's the bonus that maybe is going to come with the upsell product? And how are they going to be able to pay for that upsell product? So all of those things need to come into play even with the upsells, right? So now what I hope you're seeing is that you can completely change this and tweak this and move it and have all kinds of variations and variables. I don't know if it's 9 to the power of 9, something like that, right? So a crazy amount of different options. So here's one of the things that I want you to do. I want you to take a look at an existing offer that you have. If you've got an existing offer, if you have a product that you're selling, I want you to go and I want you to take a look at that offer and see how you can improve it. See what can you test, what can you change, how can you make it better? And then look, the ultimate test of whether something's better or not is if your market connects with it, right? It's your market that ultimately decides. You don't get to decide what's better. They get to decide what's better. So that is one of the things that you have to keep in mind. I want you to look at one of your offers and see how you can tweak it out and make it better. Look at these 9 things. Go through each one, tick by tick. How can I make this better? My guess is that for a lot of you, you don't have an upsell. That's probably one of the most important things to be adding into your offer is an upsell. Another thing is bonuses. Maybe a payment plan on the pricing. Look at all these things, but maybe it's quantities. Maybe you give them, can you give them an extra bottle and not have it really affect much of your bottom line, but it can dramatically increase sales? How is that structured? What's the offer like? You know, it was interesting. We once had, I had this client who sold these scent things. So like you put them in dispensers and they push out scents into the air. You see them stuck on like in commercial bathrooms and stuff. You'll see them stuck on there. So they have something like that, and it just makes things smell good and covers up bad smelling things. Well, he had always sold them on just one piece. Oh, here's this much ounces. Here's this much stuff, but they last for a certain time. And so one of the ways that we changed the offer is we sold them 6 months worth or 3 months worth of the product. And that's how we, so it was that was the angle that we took. That was the way that we looked at it. And it totally opened up a new market. People were super excited. They're like, oh man, I want 3 months. Oh, I want 6 months. Oh, I want a year's worth. And so great. So they were able to put it into a quantity, because the thing is that, you know, they don't, well, I want 8 ounces or I want 6 ounces. They don't really, that doesn't mean much to them, because that's not how, we don't live our lives in ounces. Oh, I breathed 4,000 liters of oxygen today. That's not how we think, right? So in this case, we were able to take a quantity that was based on with the how much within each unit. So like say each unit was 4 ounces. So we'd sell them 1 unit of 4 ounces of the scent, but that didn't mean anything to them. So now they could look at us and say, oh man, 4 ounces, that gets me a month. Or we would know that because we're the experts, right? So we could tell them, oh, we're going to give you 3 months worth. That's going to be 12 ounces of this and 14 ounces of this. And so people were super stoked. So that's just one way that you can dramatically increase revenues, by looking at it from your market's perspective and have them tell you what it is that they care about, how they live their lives, how they look at it, and then try to tweak that offer accordingly. Okay, so what if you don't have an offer to tweak? Then take a look at this. I want you to create an offer for a product that you're working at, for a product that you have in mind. So just take it from the blanket, go through these, and do the exact same thing that I was talking about and improving an offer. Just do it straight from the thing. And I think you're going to find that you're going to sell. You're going to be like, okay, cool. I'm going to have this and I'm going to have that. And I would tell you, do this now. Now is the time to do this. Don't do it when you're at the end of the thing and you're trying to write. You cannot write. I'm telling you, I forbid you to write. Start writing before you have an offer. It's that important. So go ahead, get to this, and then you are going to be amazed at the doors that are going to be opened just by going through this simple task. Okay, thanks, guys.